I've got the new Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam Eyeshadow palette to share with you guys today. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and when I posted a picture on Instagram, it seemed like there was quite a bit of inquiry about it, so I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and do one of those. It's been a while. So here's the sleeve that comes on the palette, and I purchased mine off of the Sephora website for $44, and considering the amount of product that you're getting and as many shadows as you're getting, and as well as her shadows perform, I think that the price is really good on this. The packaging on the palette is a cardboard with a magnetic closure, and I think the outside of it is super pretty. It is the same size as her Berries and Cream palette that came out previously, so larger than her first two. There are 12 shadows in the palette that are 1.4 grams per shade. It doesn't break it down by ounce, it just has grams on here, and it is made in the USA. I did do a demo with these shadows, which is the look that's on my eyes right now. I did not bring any other eyeshadows into the look, so that will be towards the end of the video if you're interested in seeing both this look and kind of how these shadows went on for me. So let's open this palette up. There is a pretty good sized mirror, and it flips all the way back like so. I like to hold my palettes like this when I use them, and I rarely use a palette mirror anyway, so it doesn't bother me that it doesn't stand up by itself. The palette has 7 matte eyeshadows, 3 shimmers, and then 3 shimmer mattes. They're that matte base that are infused with like the sparkles, and I've used every shade in this palette except for the Evil Eye shade, which is a really intense, very pigmented matte blue shade. I just haven't gone there yet. It's a very intense matte blue eyeshadow. I get along with Dominique Cosmetics eyeshadows very, very well. I think that her mattes are really, really nice. They're buildable, blendable, substantial, pigmented. They're true to color. I really, really get on with her shadows well. Her shimmers are also really intense. They're a thicker formula, but they have a really high metallic shine to them, which I think is really pretty. Now this palette does have 2 of those matte kind of shimmer shades where the base is matte and it's infused with like either really, really fine micro glitter shimmers, and the 2 shades in here are Dreamcatcher, which is this blue, and Moonchild, which is kind of this black. It's like a black and blue infused with really pretty shimmery blue. I think they're micro glitters. I would call them micro glitters. And for me, those type of shades, I always wish they would just go one way or the other, either matte or shimmer, because I find you have to really pack on shades like that to get the sparkle to shine through really pretty, or put them over a really sticky base packed on. That being said, they do work really well and kind of blend out to be matte eyeshadows for me. I have a drier lid type, so a lot of the times it's harder for me to get those little tiny particles in a matte base to stick to my eyelid, but the shades themselves are very pigmented and they work well for me, kind of like a matte shadow. I've gotten a few other eyeshadow palettes this week that I haven't even touched yet because I can't kind of stop putting this down. One of the things that I really enjoy about her palettes are they're correlated really, really well. I think she's got a great variety of matte shades, both light, deep, transition, and then also really good shimmers. And with this one especially, I think that there's a uniqueness factor, how she kind of mixed in some greens, blues, some warmer shades like that. I particularly love like a green mixed with an orange like that, which those 2 shades, blending them together can get a little tricky, so you have to be a little particular about blending them. But once they're together, I just love that look. I remember there was a Bare Minerals quad some years back that I just wore those 2 shades nonstop, in orange and like a tealy color. That's what I did on my eyes today, and I just think it turned out pretty. I've worn this particular look I think 3 or 4 times already, which for me is many like eyeshadow palettes and stuff that I have is kind of a lot. I also wore the shade Suede in the crease and buffed it out with this Wildflower shade, and then put Free Spirit underneath the brow, and that turned out super pretty. I think I used Bohemian on the lid. Every time I've used this palette, I have used solely just this palette, and if I felt there was just one thing missing just for me, how I like to kind of do my shadow, it would be a lighter shimmer shade. Although this shade looks a little bit deeper, but it's on my lid, and that would kind of suffice as a kind of a lighter shimmer as well. But I've been using Free Spirit, which is a matte shade, in lieu of a shimmery lighter shade kind of for the inner portion, and I still think it turns out really pretty. Again, her shadows are buildable, blendable, very pigmented. They work really, really well, and I have very little fallout with them, so I enjoy them a lot. I'm going to go ahead and zoom up close, give you guys some swatches, and I'm also going to hold them next to her other 3 palettes that she has released thus far. She has got great customer service as well. I know there was a little bit of a pressing issue with her Lemonade palette, and it was like no questions asked with some like hard pan forming on some of the shimmer metallic shades. She sent out new palettes to people who had those problems like right away. Anyway, let me go ahead and zoom up close and give you guys some swatches. So here is the outside packaging on here. I think it's very pretty. It is a cardboard packaging, and then you flip it open and there is your mirror. And then here are your 12 eyeshadows. So let me go ahead and point out the matte shades. You've got Fringe, Evil Eye, Free Spirit, Cactus, and Wildflower. And then on the bottom, you've got Suede, Desert Queen. And then the two shades I was talking about that are that matte base infused with the sparkle are Dreamcatcher and Moonchild. And then the shimmer shades in here are Bohemian, Wanderlust, and Gypsy. And those shades right here are a thicker type of formula, but they're very pigmented and have a really high shine to them. So let's swatch these in threes. They're so nice. They're just very, very nice shadows. That is kind of blending into my skin a lot, that brown. And then these next three shades. Oh, come on there, focus camera. And then these bottom ones. And then these last three. Oops. So there are all of the shadows. Like, such a fun color combination. And then a side-by-side comparison, the Rustic Glam on top and the Berries and Cream palette on the bottom. And then you've got Rustic Glam on top and the Lemonade palette on the bottom. And then lastly, you've got the Rustic Glam on top and her Latte palette on the bottom. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. Again, I really get on well with Dominique Cosmetics eyeshadows. I think that they're very nice quality, and I don't think that the price point is bad either. So now if you're interested in seeing how I got this look that's on my eyes and how these shadows went on for me, you can hang tight and we'll get into it right now. I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes with a Fenty concealer brush. This is the 180. It's kind of my favorite for putting on eye primer. And I have been using the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Stick Foundation, and I have Opal 01. This has just been kind of my go-to eye primer. It's got SPF in it, and I really like how my shadows blend over it because I have a really dry eyelid, and it has a little bit of moisture in it too. So I'm just going to prime that. Then going in with a Sonia G Builder 3 brush, which is a flat shader, I'm going to go into the shade Free Spirit, which is a kind of bone shade, and it's a matte. It's kind of the lightest shade in the palette, and I'm just going to put that in that inner portion of my lid right here. Then using that same brush, I'm just going to flip it over. I'm going to go into the shade Wanderlust, which is a shimmery green shade, and I'm going to put that on the outer portion here. And I'm going to take it over that bone shade a bit too and blend the two together. Then using a Dakota GSN9 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Cactus, which is a matte, and it's got a green undertone with a slight kind of blue hue to it. And I'm going to be a little precise with this because I'm going to blend it out with the orange. And if I'm not careful with the orange and the blue, I can get muddy, and I don't want that. But this green shade mixed with that orange is so pretty. I wore a look similar. I think I blended this same green with the orange the other day, and I got like a ton of compliments on it. But I love orange mixed with this type of a shade. Then using a Wayne Goss number 19 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Desert Queen, which is a matte, kind of rusty orange. And I'm going to go in pretty heavy with this. And almost kind of stamp it over this edge here before I start blending. And I'm just going to kind of bring it upwards here. And then I'm going to go back in with that Chikuhodo brush and blend these kind of together without kind of overdoing it to keep the shades intact. Then I'm going to take an Isom G29 brush and go back into that Free Spirit shade, which is that matte bone color, and go underneath the brow with it. Then using that same Goss number 19, I'm going to go into the shade Fringe, which is this it's kind of a mid-tone light brown. And I'm going to put that right here just to help those shades a little bit. Grab that Chikuhodo brush again. And then using a Hakuhodo J5533 brush, I'm going to go back into that, oh, I just dropped a brush, this Desert Queen shade. It's like a fluffier flat brush. I'm just going to pick up a dash of that and run it lightly through here. And then one more time with my Isom brush. I'm not picking up any more product though. Going to run it through here. So there's the shadow done. I'm going to go ahead and finish up my eye makeup and I'll be right back to put on some lips for you guys. For lips, I've got good old Charlotte Tilbury's Iconic Nude Lip Liner. I'm just going to go ahead and line my lips and kind of bring it in a little bit. And then to fill them in, I have ColourPop's lipstick, and this is in the shade Carousel, which is kind of a orangey coral nude. And I'm going to go right over that lip liner to the edge. So there is the overall finished look using the new Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam Eyeshadow Palette. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.